The morning sunlight poured through the windows of the Riverside Cafe, illuminating the floating dust motes that drifted lazily in the air. The small coffee shop buzzed softly with a soothing blend of chatter, the steady hiss of the espresso machine, and the gentle clatter of ceramic mugs meeting their saucers. It was a Tuesday, completely unremarkable in every way, and Olivia Taylor was running late. Come on," she whispered under her breath, checking her watch for the third time in just a few minutes. Her usual morning routine had been thrown off by a missed alarm and a stubborn shower that refused to deliver anything but freezing cold water. Now, she found herself stuck in a line that moved at a glacial pace, her stomach growling and her patience steadily thinning. Olivia tucked a loose strand of blonde hair behind her ear and shifted her weight restlessly from one foot to the other. The coffee shop was more crowded than usual, packed with the usual morning rush of office workers and college students grabbing their much-needed caffeine before tackling the day ahead. Olivia had precisely 20 minutes to get her coffee and make it across town for an important job interview, one she desperately needed after 3 long months of unemployment had drained her savings to a worrying low. 3 customers stood between Olivia and the counter. The first was an elderly woman who took several minutes to choose between a blueberry muffin and a chocolate croissant. Next was a businessman in a flawlessly pressed suit, rattling off an overly complex drink order with such detailed instructions that the barista had to ask him to repeat it twice. Then there was the man standing directly in front of her. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair that curled slightly at the nape of his neck. His gray t-shirt was plain but well-fitted, and there was something about his posture, a quiet, effortless confidence, that caught her eye. As he turned slightly to check the time on his watch, an elegant piece that looked expensive and oddly out of place with his casual clothes, Olivia caught a glimpse of his profile. A strong jawline, a straight nose, and defined dark eyebrows. Finally, it was his turn. He stepped up to the counter and ordered a plain black coffee. The barista rang it up, and as the man reached into his pocket for his wallet, a small frown flickered across his face. As he patted down his other pockets, the frown on his face deepened, the realization dawning that he had forgotten his wallet. "I'm sorry," he said to the barista, his voice laced with genuine embarrassment. "I seem to have left my wallet at home. I'll have to cancel the order." Before she had even fully processed the decision, Olivia found herself stepping forward. "I'll get it," she said, offering a gentle smile. The man turned to her, clearly surprised. "It's just a coffee, are you sure?" he asked, his dark eyes meeting hers with a gaze so direct it made her cheeks flush. "Of course," Olivia responded, trying to sound more relaxed than she felt. "Pay it forward and all that, right?" A smile slowly spread across his face, softening his serious features into something warm and sincere. "That's really kind of you." "Thank you." Olivia nodded and stepped up to the counter, ordering her usual latte and paying for both drinks. It was a small act, costing her less than $5, but the thankful look in the stranger's eyes made it feel like something more. The man waited for her at the pickup counter, and when their drinks arrived, he raised his cup in a small, grateful toast. "Thanks again. I'm Nathan, by the way." "Olivia," she replied, clinking her cup lightly in return. "Well, Olivia, you've restored my faith in humanity this morning," Nathan said, his smile crinkling the corners of his eyes. "Not everyone would do that for a stranger." Olivia shrugged, feeling a soft flutter in her chest at his words. "It's nothing really. We all forget things now and then." Nathan nodded thoughtfully, taking a sip of his coffee. Still, it was thoughtful. "And kindness? Well, it seems to be a rare thing these days." He glanced at her watch. "You look like you're in a hurry. I won't hold you up." Olivia looked down and felt a sudden jolt of panic. "Oh, I have an interview. I should go." "It was nice meeting you, Nathan. Good luck with your interview," he called after her as she rushed toward the exit. Olivia gave a quick wave before pushing through the cafe door, the crisp morning air brushing her face as she made her way toward the bus stop. She found herself smiling. Something about that brief moment, that fleeting connection, that small act of kindness between two strangers, had left her feeling lighter. It felt good. The interview went well, or at least, Olivia thought it had. The job was for an administrative assistant at a local foundation that provided grants to support community projects. The work sounded meaningful, the staff seemed friendly, and while the salary wasn't exactly impressive, it was enough to help Olivia start rebuilding her life. By the time she left the foundation's offices, she felt cautiously hopeful. 3 days passed with no word. Olivia tried not to obsessively check her phone, but by the 4th day, a quiet anxiety had begun to settle in. She needed this job. Her rent was due in 2 weeks, and her checking account was shrinking fast. 5th day, as she was walking home from the grocery store with a single bag, just the bare essentials, rice, beans, a loaf of bread, and a carton of eggs, her phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, but she answered immediately, her heart pounding. "Hello, is this Olivia Taylor?" A woman's voice asked. "Yes, this is she," Olivia replied, doing her best to keep her tone steady. "This is Patricia from the Riverside Foundation. I'm calling to let you know that we'd like to offer you the position. When would you be available to come in and discuss the details?" Relief rushed over Olivia like a warm, calming wave. "That's wonderful news. I could come in tomorrow if that works for you." They set a time, and as Olivia ended the call, a wide, uncontainable smile spread across her face. She had done it. She got the job. The tight knot of stress that had gripped her chest for months finally began to ease, just a little. The next morning, Olivia dressed carefully in the same blazer and skirt she had worn to the interview. She arrived at the foundation's offices 15 minutes early, her heart fluttering with anticipation. The receptionist, a kind woman with silver-streaked hair, greeted her warmly and led her to a small conference room. "Mr. Blake will be with you shortly," she said with a smile before closing the door. Olivia sat at the table, her hands folded in her lap, trying to settle her nerves. A few minutes later, the door opened, but it wasn't the woman who had interviewed her. It was someone familiar, standing in the doorway. Now dressed in a perfectly tailored suit was Nathan, the man from the coffee shop. The relaxed, casual energy he'd had that day was gone, replaced by a confident authority that made Olivia instinctively sit up straighter. "Hello, Olivia," he said, a small smile tugging at the corners of his lips as he registered the surprise on her face. "I'm Nathan Blake. I believe we've met before." Olivia blinked, struggling to make the connection. "You're Mr. Blake? From the foundation?" Nathan nodded, stepping inside and closing the door behind him before taking a seat across from her. "I am. I founded the Riverside Foundation 10 years ago. And you," he added, his dark eyes locking onto hers, "are the woman who bought me coffee last week. I didn't know." Olivia said, a flush rising to her cheeks. I wasn't doing it I wasn't trying to." Nathan raised a hand gently, cutting her off. "I know, and that's exactly why I'm here now. You had no idea who I was. You weren't looking for anything. You were simply kind to a stranger." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded piece of paper, sliding it across the table to her. With slightly trembling hands, Olivia picked it up and unfolded it. It was a check made out to her for $100. "I don't understand," she said, glancing up at him in confusion. Nathan leaned forward, his expression earnest. "Every month I visit different places around the city, coffee shops, grocery stores, bus stops, and I pretend to be in need. Sometimes I act like I've forgotten my wallet. Other times I drop something to see if anyone helps. Occasionally, I just ask for directions. I'm testing something very simple, kindness without any expectation of reward." He motioned to the check in her hands. Out of the 27 people in that coffee shop last week, you were the only one who stepped forward. No questions, no hesitation, just simple human kindness. Olivia looked down at the check, then back at Nathan. But this, I only spent $5 on your coffee. It's not about the money, Nathan replied, giving a gentle shake of his head. It's about the gesture. In my experience, how someone treats a stranger when they have nothing to gain tells you everything about their character. He paused, a warm smile spreading across his face. And that's why I wanted to meet with you today. The job is yours, if you want it, but not as an administrative assistant. Olivia blinked in disbelief. I don't understand. I need someone to help lead our community outreach programs, Nathan explained. Someone with integrity, empathy, and real kindness. Someone like you. The position pays twice the administrative role, and honestly, I think you'd be perfect for it. For a long moment, Olivia was speechless. The offer was more than she had imagined. A life-changing opportunity, born from a small, spontaneous act of generosity. Why me? She finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. You don't even know me. Nathan's expression softened. Sometimes you can learn more about someone from one genuine moment than from a dozen carefully rehearsed interviews. You didn't know who I was. You weren't hoping for anything in return. You just saw someone who needed help and decided to offer it. That's exactly the kind of person I want at the foundation. He extended his hand across the table. So, what do you say, Olivia? Will you join us? Olivia looked at his outstretched hand, then at the check, then back at Nathan's face. The morning sunlight poured through the window, catching strands of his dark hair and highlighting specks of gold in his brown eyes. She thought about the strange chain of events that had led her here. A forgotten wallet, a simple cup of coffee, and an unexpected connection. With a smile that came from deep within, Olivia reached out and took his hand. Yes, she said, feeling the firm warmth of his grip. Yes, I'd like that very much. As their hands met, Olivia felt something shift inside her, a quiet understanding that the smallest gestures could spark the biggest changes. That kindness, when given freely and without expectation, could return in ways far greater than one could ever imagine. Outside the window, the city buzzed with life, thousands of people going about their days, each carrying their own stories, their own hardships, their own moments of opportunity to show kindness. And in that quiet conference room, two strangers, once connected by a cup of coffee and a moment of generosity, were now beginning a brand new chapter together.